You are watching Fugitive Red Eye, and I wasn't sure if I was going to continue doing this as a regular thing, but I figured, what the hell. So I just got done watching the second episode of the new Death Note drama, and again, lots of major differences. I'm also going to point out some differences that I forgot to point out from the first episode. That being said, this does contain spoilers, so you've been warned. But that being said, Death Note, Episode 2 of the new 2015 drama adaptation. That being said, not bad. You know, this is actually really good. I'm really actually getting into this series. Obviously, it's not as good as the original series, but still decent. And the thing I like is the changes that they're making kind of make it worth watching, because it's kind of its own thing. For instance, in the original version of the series, Ray Penber was killed in the bus jacking because he gave his name out to light with the ID badge. Now, they tried to make you think that would happen in this episode, but actually, it was a fake-out, and Ray Penber was a fake name in this episode because L gave him a fake badge thinking ahead. I liked that because, you know, it threw me off. I was expecting him to die. That being said, anyway, so the other differences I forgot to point out from the first episode is, Light works in, like, a restaurant/bar type thing. In this version, he actually has a job there, which I guess, you know, that's fine and dandy, whatever. No big deal. Not that big of a deal. That being said, then another thing I noticed is Mello is definitely a puppet, and I think it's supposed to be a separate character, like a real person, but it's played by a puppet for some fucking reason I don't quite get. But Nier is played by a chick, which I didn't realize in the first episode, but he totally is. I also looked it up just to be sure, but he also has tits, so that kind of gave it away. But that being said, whatever. I don't really care. Nier's probably my least favorite character. Well, actually, no, Misa. I really don't like Misa. At least in the original series, I've always hated her. In the new series, in this new episode, Light... well, this isn't a new episode. It was made last year, obviously, but Light attempted to save Misa this time because he found out she only had 5 days left to live from Ryuk. Obviously, he wasn't able to, and Rem did, and dropped her notebook. Well, Jealous's notebook, but you know what I mean. Another thing I'd like to point out is that Misa's notebook in this version is red, which, you know, that's great. I've always wanted to see a different colored Death Note, so it was nice to see. That being said, this episode was quite a bit shorter than the first. It was only 45 minutes instead of the hour and 11 minutes like the first was, but again, I'm assuming that's because it was a premiere. That being said, what else is there to talk about this episode? Oh yeah, I think they changed Naomi Misura's name, but then again, that could have been a fake, but it fell out of Ray Penber's wallet, or his duffel bag, or tote bag, or whatever you want to call it, when he was on the bus, and it said, Kathy Campbell. I don't know if that's supposed to be Naomi Misura, or what, but it was interesting to see. Another thing is, there's actually a female member on the Kira task force this time. Don't know who the fuck she is, but she came to L with Chief Yagami and what have you. But another thing I found kind of weird was, what was it, L doesn't just eat candies anymore. He doesn't, like, eat candies and shit like he always obsessively does in the series. Instead, he's always drinking this weird little juice pouch thing. But whatever, no big deal. He doesn't sit like he's supposed to, either. Instead, he, like, kind of just slouches in a chair instead of doing that weird sitting thing he's always done, which he always said made him 40% more perceptive. But, again, like I said, they're trying to go for their own thing, and that's fine. One thing I did notice is Ryuk is pretty much the same character he's always been, right on point there. That being said, pretty good series. Another thing I really want to give them credit for is I really like the soundtrack. It's nowhere near comparable to the original anime soundtrack, but it's definitely a good soundtrack, and I'd have to say it has at least the second movie beat, because the second Death Note movie was just Red Hot Chili Peppers. I'll also probably be doing a video once the 2016 Death Note movies come out. That's the one in Japan and the one in the US, to compare and contrast. And I'll probably just keep doing these episode reviews as they come out, just kind of as an easy, relaxing video to do, as I'm busy making this month's Conquer video, so Alright, so now I just barely finished watching episodes 3 and 4. Once again, there were quite a few differences. Number one, I'd say the most substantial difference is Misa was the one to kill Ray Penber instead of Light. Ray Penber killed all the other agents like he was supposed to, but then Light got caught by him and almost got killed by him to protect his fiancée, which in this version is, like I said, named Kathy Campbell instead of Naomi Misora. But anyway, so Misa killed Ray to protect Light, and another major difference is Misa met up with Light while they still have the surveillance cameras, and that's where episode 4 ended. So I don't know what the hell happens after that yet, but kind of an interesting twist. And it's been 100% confirmed, Mello is just a ventriloquist dummy that Nier uses as some sort of fucking crazy person, so I guess, Nier's insane now, which honestly might make him a more likable character. Although I still think it's odd that he's played by a chick, but anyway, so yeah, I decided I'm just going to, do these episode reviews in groups, so as not to, spam the hell out of everyone with, well, when I say everyone, I mean what subscribers I do have. What I'm saying is I don't want to shit out a bunch of videos about, the same thing over and over again, so I'm just gonna do them in groups, so they're kind of limited in number. I'm just gonna do my initial thoughts after each episode, or like in today's case, I've actually watched 2 episodes today, instead of my usual 1, because, I didn't watch any yesterday, and I was getting into it, so I, will keep these coming out in groups. That being said, I still need to watch episode 5 at the time I'm recording this particular portion, although the episode 5 review will still be later on in this video, so it's not like you'll have to wait on it. Not that you care, but, or maybe you do. Maybe you're completely interested in what I'm saying, and that's great. That's what I make these for. Well, I make these for fun, but that being said, I really do enjoy this series, despite how much I thought it would be utter shit. It's pretty good. What else was there? There was quite a few other little differences that weren't as big a deal. L told Light there was this chick that was there when L told Light that he was L in this particular version, so I don't know, I thought that was kind of odd how that he just publicly announced he was L to everyone, rather than just secretly to Light like he did in the original. Another thing, he didn't tell him the fake Hideki Ryuga name until after they played tennis, because that was his condition, was to tell Light his name if they won in tennis, or if Light beat him in tennis, which he did, but, you know, he gave him the fake Hideki Ryuga name like he did in the anime. That being said, I'm looking forward to what happens next. Again, you know, this series is a year old. It's not like I'm watching new episodes, but they're new to me because I haven't seen them, and honestly, Death Note was my favorite anime for a very long time. It's not my favorite anime anymore, but it was the first thing that got me into it, so this adaptation is decent. Not as good as the anime. The anime is probably my favorite version, followed closely by the manga, and then the live-action movies, then this version. So, that being said, I'm gonna keep watching it, and hopefully it's good. It's only 11 episodes long. I've already kind of had the ending spoiled to me, because I look up things obsessively, and I may have accidentally read the actual ending, but, regardless, I had the ending spoiled to the anime for me before I watched through it, so it's kind of keeping with tradition, I guess. Light's character is developing quite a bit, which I like. He's becoming more and more like the Light from the anime, but he's still kind of a wimp, and he's not as smart still, but he is getting smarter and a little bit more badass, so that's nice. That being said, that's pretty much all I really have to say about episodes 3 and 4. Not really that much different than the original, other than the things that I've mentioned so far. I mean, there were also, obviously, a bunch of other little differences here and there, especially with dialogue, but at the same time, oh yeah, another key plot point, remember how I said in episode 1, Light, for his first criminal kill was this guy who was holding his dad hostage? Well, now L's using that to support his theory that Light is Kira, so stay tuned. Alright, so now it's time to talk about Episode 5, and once again there were quite a few differences. Namely, Light and Misa met up while the cameras were still in his room, as well as the listening devices, so L came in and, he saw them, and Misa almost said that he was Kira, but Light luckily snatched up and made out with her at the time. Mainly, the differences in this one were mostly to do with changes in location. Much of the stuff that happened was very similar to how it happened in the anime and manga. Few major differences. When L came and introduced himself to Light, I don't know if... no, that was episode 4. Forget I said that. So, in fact, I talked about that earlier in this video. But regardless, so mainly it was just to do with location changes. Misa never met Ryuk yet. I mean, Light's met Rem, but they still haven't shown Ryuk. And they talked about Jealous, but they didn't show him, so whatever. Another thing is another key plot point that was used was the fact that Misa's stalker was killed by a heart attack. They decided to use that against her. I can't remember if they did in the original series. It's been quite a while since I've seen it, admittedly, so maybe I'll rewatch it through and give my thoughts on that series too, but I've already talked about the original Death Note quite a bit in my last couple of Death Note videos that I did quite a while ago, but are still up, obviously. That being said, there was quite a few little differences, nothing really that big. I mean, another thing I did notice is they already showed Mikami, and it's kind of early for them to even introduce him, but they did. They also showed Nier escaped from, or left Whammy's house, and Elle and Watari were kind of concerned about it, as if, like, it was a bad thing. And, obviously Nier has Mello as a puppet, so it's fucking weird, but, you know, whatever. That being said, Mello wants to kill people or something or other, I can't remember, but Nier and Mello, different personalities of the same person, just one's a puppet. That being said, the episode ends with Light and Elle going to a Misa concert but Elle secretly has her arrested. The whole stealing her cell phone thing doesn't happen in this version, just because, I don't know, time reasons? The whole meeting up at school and stuff. Instead, they go to a concert and Elle has her arrested, because this time it's a fingerprint rather than hair fiber, so I guess she was less careful in this version. But again, they made Light seem kind of like he cares about Misa, at least for the moment, but he did mention he would kill her if either of them got caught, just like in the original. This time, though, Rem didn't say anything to him about it. Rem didn't complain, which I find odd. I mean, I'm sure she still cares about Misa, but I don't know. Maybe they're saving that for a later episode, I don't know. I'm still going to be watching these, obviously, and still talking about them. This is the last episode I'm going to talk about, just because I figured 2 through 5 should be enough, and then I'll just do one more video of 6 through 11, since it's only 11 episodes long. On an unrelated note, I did actually read through the Death Note pilot chapter, finally, and I'll probably be talking about that in a future video. I really enjoyed that, actually. Completely different in tone, but interesting nonetheless. That being said, I've always enjoyed Death Note, so I'll make a video on it here and there. I don't plan to make it the primary focus of this channel, because honestly, I don't want this channel to have a primary focus, just kind of a theme or a tone. But that being said, I am actually really digging this Death Note series, even though it's inferior by far to the original, so I don't know, I really like it. And so I'll probably do a full-on review at the end as well. After I've done my parts on episodes 6 through 11, I'll do a full review as well, and compare and contrast. Obviously the original's better, and what have you, but other than that, that's pretty much all I really have to say about Episode 5. I can't think of any other major differences right off the bat. I mean, the only thing is the letter that Misa sent to the police and what have you was just a letter instead of a video. But Light's response, I think, is also just a letter. But, not really that many differences. So other than that, this has been Fugitive Red Eye, and I will catch you next time, hopefully. If not, you can go fuck yourself. How's that sound? That sound like a tempting offer? I hope so. If not, goodbye. See you next time. That's it. Wow. Whee!